I want to talk really quickly about something. I was listening to this guy, and he was the one talking about like people don't want to admit that they're in hell. They don't want to admit it. No, because people are programmed to be attracted to negativity, but at the same time, they're also programmed not to be a real. They're programmed not to be realistic. Like they're programmed to be attracted to negativity more than positivity. But at the same time, they're programmed to be unrealistic and not realistic. And so that's why it's almost like they can't admit it because their heart, their heart is full of lies. Basically, the truth is not in them. The truth is just not in them. When the truth is not in you, of course you're gonna like more evil than you like negative than you like good. But I want to say, when it comes to good and bad, I try not to look at it from an ego standpoint because what I realized in my life is being a good person is not what's going to save me. It's good to go donate and help, help shelters and all this stuff. That's good. And some people do it. I do it because I always like to do it. It's not like it makes me feel good. It's literally some things. When I do things, it's because I like to do it. Not because it make me feel like a good person. But at the same time, even those good deeds, you know how they say no good deeds go unpunished? Like, why does it, like, good deeds have to be punished? And that's what I'm saying. What I realized, that in an ego type of existence, just do good deeds is not what's going to save you. It's going to have to be more supernatural. What's going to save you out of this? And which is why I get annoyed why especially preachers, because I'm not going to blame Christians for being ignorant if the preachers don't want to tell the truth. If the preachers don't tell the truth, I cannot blame Christians for being ignorant. But this is why I will not go to church and stuff. I'm really not, I don't see the way the scripture is taught is not the way that I'm seeing it. So I can't go because the way it's being taught is not the way that is coming out to me. And plus, I've been in a upside down world. All those characters that are masculine were once feminine in the Bible. Those They took all those feminine characters and turned them into the masculine characters. So I can't be around a bunch of people that's going to keep thinking everything is about a he. I'm not against the he, but what I am against is covering up the truth and covering up the female and replacing her with the male. That's what I am against, and that makes me look like some kind of feminist because I don't appreciate somebody taking my identity. That makes me a feminist because I don't like my identity being taken. See, that's the mess right there. This is why this is a hell realm, that somebody gets to take your identity, and when you say something about it, you're the one that's wrong and you're the feminist, but this person took your identity pretending to be you, and he's a man taking your identity. But I'm the feminist because I say that. I'm bringing it up. This is how they want to just this is how they want to shame you into not getting into your full truth, and to not being who you are, and to not getting back and becoming who you are. This is what they do. They continue to guilt and shame you, and to continue to live a lie and call you all these names and make it seem like you're the one that's a bad person, like you hate men and all this stuff, to keep you from getting back into who you really are, so they can continue to keep your identity. The longer you go along with the things they say, and go along with them guilt tripping you, the longer you stay out of who you truly are, and you stay out of your true purpose and who you truly are, who you truly are. And he continues to keep your identity from you, and not keep it from you, hold on to it, just keep it while you continue to stay lost. But this is what I want to say. This is what I really wanted to talk about. Um, so I was listening to this guy. And what I get sick of hearing these guys do, and but women do the same thing though. So they both do the same doggone things because they only see things from their own perspective. They are not, men and women in general are just not balanced in a way to understand that men and women are doing the same things. It's just different genders, but they do the same thing. And what he was saying is that why is it that women are so attracted to the bad guy? Why is it that women are so attracted to the drug dealers? This was the African. I think his accent was African. Why are women so attracted to the drug dealers? Why are women so attracted to this? And he was like going on and on about how this is a hell realm, and talking about how people are more attracted to negative than good. And then he used another example of how women are attracted to the bad guy. I'm not going to say that he's wrong about that now. I don't think he's wrong about that. But what he can't see, because unfortunately he's only attracted to women, I take it. So he can't see the things I see as a woman. As a woman, a lot of these guys are attracted to the bad girls. Okay, people want to talk about, they want to call people like Nicki Minaj, call them sluts or whoever, talk about people like Cardi B, talk about people like Evelyn Lozada, or if the list, the names go on and on, who the people I can mention. Talk bad about Shawnee. They don't have to, these ladies don't have to sleep around with other men. They can just, they can be dark feminine without sleeping around with a bunch of men, but they still just dark feminine. To be honest with you, in a lot of ways, dark feminine know how to control the minds of men. Because the good girl ain't gonna do that. She gonna let him choose on his own. But that dark feminine, if that's what she wants, she gonna do what it takes to keep him. But even if she ain't doing all of that, just by her natural, that dark feminine just attracts these guys to them. So it's the same way. So men do the same thing as he's saying the women do. Women are attracted to the dark masculine, and the men are attracted to the dark feminine. I mean, we all have seen good girls get looked over. I don't care how pretty they are. If they are a good girl, they're going to get treated like shit. Now, some of the ones who luckily do not, they just happen to meet the right person who have their own mind. And then you have those women who, I don't want to call it luck, because it's not by chance that they met the person that they met, right? They already knew that person before and it came back to them in this experience, right? So I don't want to say they just got lucky. It was already predestined to happen. But but and so women like that like to go and preach to other women how they can get the same thing, but that's not true. Just because this guy happened to come in your life and you're not necessarily a dark feminine, and you got this guy that love you for who you are, does not mean that most guys are not attracted to the dark feminine. See, that's the problem right there. Is a lot of these women make it seem like you need to cook and clean, and you need to just be this prissy feminine person, and you need to be all this and that, and you need to submit and do all that. You do all of that, he gonna walk all over you, and he gonna go straight to that dark feminine, because that's what he want. And I see it all the time. I've been seeing it since high school. The first time I observed it was in high school. I always noticed that the guys, the young boys, and then when I grew up in my 20s, when I used to start to go out all the time, even as I just see the older couples and stuff, and I still always see that. I would always say to myself, these men seem to be attracted to women. And I grew up in Alabama, right? I grew up in Alabama. I saw this in Alabama. I said, these men tend to be attracted to women who talk down to them. These women talk down to them, treat them like trash, curse them out. And they sit up there and talk about how they want something different. These men complain about women not submitting, but then they find the women who's everything they keep saying that they want, and they step all over them and treat them like treat them like trash. But it's the same thing with women. A lot of women who say they want this good guy. But see, when you have a pattern of only dealing with people who treat you bad, and that seems to be your pattern, not saying if you had one time or even twice of dealing with a bad guy, but if you have a pattern of constantly dealing with these kind of guys, you can say all day that you want to be treated this way. But if something keep drawing you to these kind of men, your energy, so for some reason, you keep attracting those kind of men. So it's like it's a pattern of dealing with those kind of men. And same thing with the men. They do the same thing, you know. Um, and what was it? Somebody explain why that is. Why good people and bad people attract each other. Basically, you have good people and bad people who attract each other. I even see this with people who are friends. I will see one friend talk about how they do all this for this other friend, and this other friend so low down to them. But then when that one friend have done everything and they say they tired of being used and abused, when they finally meet somebody who's like them, they turn around and use and abuse the person who's treating them right. See what I'm saying? It's like people are attracted to the opposite. And somebody kind of broke that down. I was briefly listening to his video, and he was saying it's because of duality. Like it has to be some kind of balance, and that's why you continue to see um, this good attracted to bad and all that stuff, because it's the balancing things out. you know. But I don't think that's necessarily good, because what happens if you end up with a whole lot of trauma and what's going on and stuff like that, and people are in relationships they shouldn't be in. But anyway, um, I don't think that's it. I mean, I can see what he's talking about, but I really believe that a lot of these people are not getting with who they are supposed to be with, because if most people get with who they are really, really, really supposed to be with, then they would raise the frequency. Okay, and so I really feel like something is happening to make sure that don't happen. And so you have people who are of a different, that are not of this hellish world, that come from somewhere high in frequency, that came here. They're making sure these people don't meet up with somebody who would match them, and they're making sure these people link up with folks who are lower in vibration, to keep everything low, to keep hell in place. That's just me. That's just kind of my thoughts. Anyway, I just feel like talking about that really quickly, and I will talk later.